this is James Wisby, and we're about to do an unboxing of a heavy club. So let's get down to it. We have right here the Kensui Easy Club. I got this because I wanted something that you could adjust with heavy club training. I don't have to buy all the individual clubs. That just ends up costing a lot of money. And I wanted to start off really light, but be able to progress relatively quickly. So let's go ahead and open this up. I also have from Cap some Olympic weight plates. There's a pair of 10-pound, a pair of 5s, and a pair of 2.5s. That way I can adjust the weight on this Kensui heavy club by 2.5 pounds at a time. There is 2 clubs in here because I wanted to be able to do two-handed. Now eventually I'll have to get more weight so I can actually put a good amount of weight on each. But for the time being, I'm just going to use one to practice with. And then pretty soon as well, I'll have to get even more weight because, you know, max, what is that? That might take some time actually, because max there's like 2 10s, that's 20, 2 5s, that's another 10, that's 30 pounds right there, plus 2.5s, 2 of those, that's 35 pounds. That'll last me a while on a single club. So the Kensui Easy Clubs come in, it looks like one box, but it's actually 2 separate boxes that are taped together. So that's pretty cool. Fooled me. Let's open it up here from the top. Let's see. Open that up. We've got the first one right here. Bring that out. Nothing really in the box besides the Easy Club itself and some bubble wrap. We've got the actual Easy Club here. Let me just show you what it looks like. So we've got, it's made out of wood. I think Malaysian wood is what they said on the website. Oh, I don't want to be littering or not, they're not here. So just so you get a close up, because I want you guys to see on the top here, it's got this like rubber. That's right here, and it's flat, which is nice because you can still set it down. So you could set it down on some stuff like that. So it's gonna stand up by itself. That's kind of cool. We've got this nice sort of wood knob at the end, so your hand stays on it so it doesn't slip off. Feels pretty smooth. It could be smoother, but it's pretty smooth. That's nice. They've got this collar on here, normal weightlifting collar. Just unhook it, slides. You can slide that off actually all the way. So it's just a regular collar that you'd find at the gym. Slide that on, you put your weight on first, then slide the collar on, slide that up, lock it into place, and now your weight is gonna stay on this heavy club. So both of them are gonna look exactly the same. So I'm not even gonna take the other one out of the box right this second. I am gonna open the box for the weight so I can put the weight on and kind of show y'all how this might work a little bit. So for example, if we're doing regular heavy club, you might do something like a shield cast type thing, which feels weird with no weight, but that's how you kind of do it. Now, this is the first time I've ever used a heavy club or any club really at all. So I might look really funky doing the movement, but that's the gist of it, of like a shield cast right there. I did that the opposite way. Right there, you could do some, you know, swings side to side. Can't see that down there. You could do a lot of things with the club, but we'll go into that in a completely different video. This is just an unboxing right now. So let me go ahead, I'm gonna set this down on the ground, and we're gonna open the box for the actual weights. What's the best way to do this? Flip it like this. And open, slice this tape open, just like that. got it packaged pretty well, which is a good thing. And this is like 35 pounds in here, so I don't want it to fall out the packaging. Okay. There we go. Put my knife away so nobody gets scared. All right, turn this over, lift it up. Wow, look at that. There's another box inside of a box. That is great. Okay. That is funny. Dang, okay. Let me put this back on. Flip this completely over. And then lift it from this side. There you go. And then now, we've got to take the tape off of this box. So let's do that. This is probably the most interesting video right now that you've seen in your life. Watching some guy take tape off a box. All right, I believe we've got it right there. Let me put this back here. Flip it back over. And take this one off. Boom. Now we have the actual weights here. So let me kind of show you what we got. We have, here is the 2.5 pound plate, 1.1 kilograms, probably more around 1.13, but 2.5 pounds. Looks pretty dang nice. That's that's pretty nice. So I can show you how we can put this on the actual club. Take the collar off, slide the weight through, or slide the club through the weight, bring it up to the top, put the collar on, and tighten it. I don't know, here, let's see if you can hear that. So there's a little bit of wobble in there, but it actually locks in surprisingly tight. It's not gonna come down, at least not with this amount of weight. And when you're swinging things, it's not gonna be a concern of it falling off because you got this stopper to the end. Only time when I would be concerned about it coming down and I would wanna use a second collar would be when you're holding it in regular, proper orientation here. It's a possibility that if it's too heavy, the weight may come down, but let's try this again with the 2.5. Switch hands. Just do a regular pullover. So, obviously works for the purpose that it was built, because it's just a piece of wood that you slide some weight on. Let's put a little bit more weight on there and see how that looks. So we've got, once we get deeper in here, there's another 2.5 pound plate right there. So we got a pair. All right, then let's keep moving down here. We've got 5 pound plate. There's a 5 pound, looks pretty good as well. These are pretty nice. I say there's just little, some pieces that the coating is maybe slightly chipped or something, but it looks pretty good overall. So let's grab a 10. Work our way down here. Grab one of the 10 pound plates. Woo, feeling heavy. All right, there we go. Here is the 10 pound plate, 4.5 kilograms. And we're gonna put that on our club here, which I think it makes more sense to keep the 2.5 on top, then put a 5-pound on top of that, and then put the 10-pound on top of that. So now we would have 17.5 pounds on the club right here. Lock that in place. Ooh, it's feeling heavy. Let's see. So if you jiggle it, watch what happens. The weight starts to slide down. Ooh. So that would mean we would need like 2 collars on here. But with the one collar, if you just hold it here, it's not moving. But if you move it around really much, it's gonna fall down. Like it's sliding down right now, actually. So you would need 2 collars on here. So that would be something that if you're going any amount of like real weight, you're gonna need to actually get a second collar for each of these, which is kind of a bummer, but that is what it is. So let's give this a try. Let's swing it up. So that's gonna be very annoying to have to deal with that clanging around when you're swinging it. So that is gonna be my recommendation, is that if you're gonna put anything more than like 10 pounds on here, you're gonna have to get a second collar, or you're gonna have to get a collar that's way tighter. This collar is not very tight. It's pretty loose in general. So we can come in here, open the second box, and grab the other club. We can grab the, wow, this collar a little bit tighter than this other one. You can put this on, lock it in place. Now we can look. Looks like it's, yeah, that's gonna be good. So you're gonna need like 2 collars on here to be able to actually effectively use it. Let's give it a, oh man, that's heavier than it looks. 2, 3. I'm wiggling around so much. Keep in mind, this is the first time I've ever used a heavy club. 3, 4. There's 5. Let's take the hat off. I can't imagine doing this as a one-handed. Okay, let's switch the top hand. Do the opposite way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, okay, that is crazy. So 17.5 pounds, much heavier than it actually seems when you're holding it up. It's actually working my like grip quite a bit, just having to hold it up. Pretty cool though, overall, and that just looks cool. Feels awesome. I would say definitely if you want to get a heavy club and you want it to be relatively cheap. So not super cheap, but relatively cheap. These were like 90 bucks or something, you know, or 80 something bucks with the 10% discount code on the website. With shipping, it was like 90 bucks. Not too bad to get 2 of them. One of them, probably like 50 bucks, I think, on the website. And the weights here were like 30 bucks maybe to get this pack. So a total of like 35 pounds, which most people, you're only gonna use that much weight on one heavy club. And that's probably gonna take a long time to even get to the point where you're using 35 pounds for an actual workout with the clubs. Now, what you might do at the beginning more often is that you might use both of these clubs at the same time. So like actual Indian club, like shoulder rehabilitation and mobility. So let's take this weight off of the one. all this weight back in here. Okay, so you might more often than not, when you first start using the Indian Club mobility, I don't even know any moves, so I'm just like making this up. But you know, you might do something, you know, like that. I don't know. Seems silly, but that's what you might do. I don't know. So you might use these for the actual Indian mobility, and then you would actually add the weight on. So once you do that and you learn the moves, add on a 2.5 pound weight onto each of these, which, like I said before, if you're doing anything that's probably more than 10 pounds, the actual weight collars, one of them's a bit looser than the other one, so it would have been nice to have some better quality control there, but works good enough for now. So now you have 2.5 pounds on there, and now you're doing, you know, the moves that you're doing. The only thing that's going to get in the way if you do the 2 Indian Club style and you're doing any Indian Club moves is that these weights are going to bang into each other. Or a normal club, it's just the skinniness of the actual club, so it probably won't bang into each other, but these weights would. So you need to be careful when you're doing moves and you come down that they're not going to bang into each other. So I would say overall, pretty good buy. I'm satisfied, especially since I'll be doing mainly the Indian Club mobility stuff with just the wood stick itself. Probably not with actually any weight. I might move up over time, but at least the beginning will be just a stick. And then the heavy club itself, I'm just gonna be doing with one club to start with anyways. So that doesn't matter much. I've got the 2 weight collars. Weight collars are pretty cheap online. You can probably get like 2 of them for maybe like 10 or 15 bucks off Amazon, and you can put them on. So all in all, total cost would be something like 140 would be for this sort of setup here, which I think is a decent price to be able to have an adjustable club that you can progress over time. Start with like this, you know, 17.5 pounds or 15 pounds and work your way up to the total 35 pounds with one club. Very quick to adjust the weight. I think it's a great buy. I'm gonna continue to show some stuff on the channel of me using it, and we'll see how it holds up over time. And then eventually, once I have more money, I would want to splurge a little bit and get an ADEX club, ADEX, which is an adjustable club system. Great company from what I've seen so far. I've been watching lots of Mark Wildman on YouTube, and that's the company that he suggests for adjustable clubs. And so I'm excited once I've got more money to buy one of those things, so that it's just a club, it's skinny, it looks nice, and it's adjustable as well, and in even smaller increments of weight. So, but this is what we got right here, the Kensui adjustable clubs, 2 of them with some cap weights right here. It's awesome. Leave some comments if you want to leave some comments, or if you have questions about how these work or whether you should get them or not, and I'll send you a little message back and letting you know. Peace out.